Okay, in today's lesson we're going to learn how to draw a mouse. So let's start off simple. I'll walk you through it first and then we'll do the final piece. So first of all, we draw a circle. Nothing too complicated, and don't worry if it's not perfect. Then we draw a smaller circle, just off to the side, like a wonky snowman. We're going to add a little rounded triangle here. Notice how it's going from the top of the circle to the bottom. And it will connect its sort of head with its body. A little curve here. At this point in time, people start thinking it may look like more like a pelican than a mouse, but we'll get there in the end. Just going to add this little paw now, sticking up, maybe he's eating a bit of cheese, and his back legs. Start to get a little bit more detail in here. So, starting off, it's been nothing too complicated. And we'll carry on that way with a little rounded sort of circle or eclipse shape for his ear, and a half circle there for his other ear. Another circle for his eye. And already I'm starting to feel this is quite a good looking mouse. Drawing in the jawline there and the ears. And we're just going to add a little bit of detail now for his paw. Just two little hooks and bringing it back. And on his back legs, two hooks, and then a little one further back there. Just filling in the gaps. A little bit of detail, a little bit of fur. And we'll go into the tail now. So for that, coming from the base, just swoosh in line, keeping it even as we go back, as even as you can. That's the tricky bit. Back to the base of the body. It's a pretty good mouse. All we have to do then is look to remove some of the lines, that kind of skeleton lines that we don't need, and then start adding the detail. So I've got my rubber here. I'm just going to rub out some of these lines. And start adding the detail. So with that, it's nothing too heavy. We're just going to a little bit of detail inside the ear, curve and a bit of shadow detail. Shading the eye there, I'm just going to give it a bit more of a three-dimensional feel with a bit more darkness around the bottom, even a white dot. And some whiskers. And just some little shaggy marks for the fur. Nothing too complicated. Nothing that's, nothing takes a real artist eye to do. Got a few creases under his chin there. And in a moment we'll go down to the tail. And we'll just do a few little rings on the tail there to make that look 3D. There we go. And so that's our mouse pretty much done. Now don't worry if you missed that then. We're going to go through it step by step. Okay, so stage 1. First thing we're going to draw is a circle. Now of course, don't worry about the circle being perfect. This is only the kind of ectoskeleton of the mouse we're doing, and this circle won't be seen again. We'll rub it out near the end. So that's stage 1, a simple circle. I think we can all do that. Stage 2, well, it's the circle, and then the head just off to the side, like a wonky snowman. The next stage is we're going to add this rounded triangle to the front here. Notice how it's going from the top of the circle down to the bottom of the circle. Stage 3 complete. Now on to stage 4. It's the circle, of course, rounded circle, and now this rounded triangle going off the side from the top to the bottom. Remember, if you do it wrong, don't worry. You're pressing lightly and you're going to be able to correct it. Now join the head up to the body. Take your time with these things and press lightly. The art of drawing is pressing lightly. Now I'm just going to add a little front paw there and the back paws there. We're already up to stage 5, we're nearly there. So for stage 6 here, drawing a mouse, pressing lightly. So if you make a mistake, it's easy to rub out. You don't have to worry about it. That's the secret of drawing, is keeping your pressure on your pencil lightly. We have a habit of when we concentrate, we press too hard. So let's make it look more like a mouse. Let's add the ears. Again, it's a little clip shape, a circle there. For that second ear, most of it is blocked out by the face of the mouse, and then a circle there to give the mouse some character. Stage 6 complete. At this stage, we're pretty much there with the mouse, and it's just about adding the details to make it more realistic, and of course to give it a tail. So again, put in the front paws and the back paws. And now to the head again. The little clips for the ear, and that second ear is just half covered by the head. And by the time we've drawn the eye on now, we've got quite a realistic looking mouse. To give it some character, we're just going to go underneath his chin there and create the little cute cheeks. So add a little comma, and that gives it an effect of a nostril. Let's put the tail on now. Starting at the base of his body, swirling line down, and as you draw it back, just keep it parallel as best you can back to the base. That's probably the hardest thing to draw on this mouse, to be honest. So, remember the keys to this drawing is pressing lightly and keeping the shape simple. 2 circles, a rounded triangle, curve joining the body and the head. Front paws just a little clip shape, and the same then again, a little plonk shape for his back legs. A clip shape for the ear, half circle then, circle for his eyes, a little dot for his nose or comma, and just that's a nice bit of drawing there, just to give him a little chin. Tail again, swishing line out. This is the hardest part, keeping it parallel back to the base. Yeah, then get some detail. So 2 little claws there for his front paw, and for his back legs, 2 claws. Drag it back a little bit and give him another little claw just to make it feel like his back leg there. Okay, at this stage I think we've really achieved our drawing of a mouse. Stage 7 and 8. Okay, so for the final drawing, this is what we're looking at. Putting it all together. A large circle to start off with, a smaller one just off to the side. Join them together. The rounded triangle for the nose part. And then we'll give him a little front paw and his back legs. And the detail of the ears now, so it's like a clip shape and a half circle for the ear behind his head. Circle for the eyes. And this little rounded drawing just to get the jawline in. I'm going to add the tail here a little bit earlier than I normally do, but it's okay to work out a sequence. Going back, keeping it as parallel as you can back to the base of the mouse. Okay, let's add the details for the paws now. We've got 2 little claws and back, and then just bring it back into the body a little bit, hinting with the arms sticking out of the body. And for the back legs, 2 little claws, bring it back a little bit, then another little claw back to the body there. Okay, let's start adding more detail. Use a little comma for the nose. And let's see what we can do to make it a bit more artistic. We're going to remove all those lines for that ectoskeleton, like I said before. Remember, I told you to press lightly because we don't really want them there. They're guidelines for us to create a really realistic mouse. So once I've erased all those lines, I can get back to adding some detail. Okay, here, to add a little bit of detail, I'm going to go back underneath his chin and I'm going to add a few little wrinkles just to make it look a bit more fuller and more realistic. And then I'm going to add texture to his fur. I'm just doing this with little scruffy dashes and lines, just to create the feeling of the scruffy fur coming out from the mouse. Going onto his tail there, down the middle of the body. Once I feel I've done enough of that, I'll move up to add more detail to the rest of the face. So for instance, inside his ear, you can see the sort of shadows forming and the textures there of the soft folds of the ear. I'm just creating a little bit of shade in there to give the illusion of the ears going in. And around the eye there, just a bit darker around one side and blending it up and letting the tone go up so it looks like there's a highlight hitting the eye to make it look 3D. few lines for whiskers, and then a little bit more scruffy texture around his fur. A little bit of shading underneath his arm there to make it sort of come out. And then just to finish, we can add a few little lines on the tail to make it look 3D and to sort of show where the fur isn't quite on the tail. Well, I've thoroughly enjoyed drawing this mouse, and I hope you do too. Well, now it's your turn, so good luck.